Hi, this video presents the unboxing and installation of the Xerox Custom Envelope Feeder. If you're watching this, it's because you purchased one of these feeders. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank you on behalf of Customized Applications for purchasing this product from Xerox. I'm confident once the feeder is installed, you'll appreciate the ease with which you can nearly double your envelope printing productivity on the Versant. So let's get started. Customer envelope feeder should arrive in a large box approximately 3 feet by 5 feet by 3 feet. The box contains 4 pieces. It contains the feeder, the stand, this bag of accessories, which got you to this video, the QR code on this, and also our 2 side guides for the hopper. So we'll take you through the installation of the assembly of this unit and get it ready for the Versant. These are the installation instructions included in the packet that we will review. This is the QR code that got you to this video. These are simple large format fold out instructions. If you fold out once, you can see all the parts that we just that are in the box. Fold it out again, it gives you all the steps for installing the feeder onto the Versant, both the high and the low configuration. One important piece on the back are 2 knobs on the feeder, and we'll talk to these later. 2 adjustments that you shouldn't adjust on the feeder because you can take the feeder out of calibration. The first step to installing the feeder is to pull the stand from the box. It's a little tight in here, be careful as not to damage the feeder. This stand has 2 preset settings. This is the low configuration if you are installing on a Versant without the oversized high capacity feeder. If you do have an oversized high capacity feeder on your stand, going to take this thumb screw off of the stand and lift it. As you can see, this is the low setting we just pulled the screw out of. And there's a second setting, I'll show it to you here, the second feeder stand setting, height setting, for installing on an oversized high cap. A little challenge to find it. Once you find the hole, put the threaded shaft through and retighten the nut on the threaded shaft. Second step to installation after you adjusted the stand to the proper height is to remove the envelope feeder from the packaging and install it on the top of the stand. This requires 2 people to lift the feeder because it is heavy and awkward. Bring it over to the stand. And as you'll see, there's a collar on here that just slides over the stand. There's the collar, and then there's holes for 4 thumb screws that we'll add in a minute. Once you installed the feeder on the stand, use these 4 thumb screws, 4 of the 6 thumb screws that are included in the kit, and tighten down the top of the feeder. Next, we're going to install the hopper side guides. First, make sure your wedge is pulled all the way back. Do that by lifting it up slightly. The side guides slide right on these screws on either side of the feeder. Then you take the tool that was included in the kit in the feeder box, the Allen wrench, and tighten down the side guides. Don't have to be too tight, just finger tight. Repeat that same procedure on the other side to put the side guide in the other side of the feeder. Tighten those screws down. The last step to getting the feeder ready for installation on the Versant is to install these accordion side guides, which protect parts from falling in the belt or dust. And basically you velcro to either side of the feeder, and those will adjust in and out as you change sizes for your envelope feeder. Put the other one on the other side in the same manner. The last step in preparing the feeder for installation on the Versant is to install these side guides. Now these are only necessary when you're installing on the low configuration. They are not needed on the high configuration. What you do is simply take the side guides. They're reversible for either side, so there's not a right and left. Using the thumb screws included in the kit, place the side guide over this existing side guide and tighten down the thumb screw. Repeat the procedure on the other side, making sure the tab is pointed out or down or forward. It's important to make sure that you don't strip the threads. One final note before we install the feeder on the Versant is you probably noticed these bright orange stickers that say do not adjust on them. It's important that you don't make any adjustments to these knobs prior to installation of the feeder. These are factory reset or factory set to a particular height and particular nudge or thickness for pulling envelopes. They're set at the manufacturing facility for envelopes of any size, and they're basically used for some of the more robust features of this envelope feeder that are really best set when you familiarize yourself more with the feeder. This label was included in the bag of accessories with the feeder. This label should be attached to the bypass tray, the top of the cover of the bypass tray, and this label simply reminds you that you should open the bypass tray cover, or the MSI tray cover, whenever you're installing the envelope feeder. This reduces the chance that you're going to damage the sensors that are inside the feeder cover. These are some of the sensors that could get damaged. So to install the low configuration on the Versant without the high cap feeder, just the side MSI, pull your side guides all the way out and open up the MSI cover. Lift up the top of the envelope feeder until it's locked. And guide the envelope feeder roughly center on the MSI tray. And make sure these tabs are inside. This is what you should register to on both sides of the feeder. Once this is in, close the MSI cover, unlock the top, close the side guides, and you're ready to feed. After the feeder is installed on the Versant and before you start to run, it's important to make sure that the feeder is level. And that's done by looking at the small level that's on the back of the stand and just making sure that the bubble inside the level is inside the black circle on the level. If it isn't, please call CAS at the number on the screen and we'll help walk you through how to level the machine. Also, before you start to run, it's important to note the interlock on the side of the device. That's these two pieces. When this comes up, that interlock separates and stops the machine from running. It's important that these two are right on top of each other. As you can see here, they're not. So to correct this, loosen these screws and slide the interlock, the top interlock, back in this case. This is a correctly adjusted interlock that you see now on the screen. Finally, a gentle reminder here, these two labels, the do not adjust. For any reason, if you're having problems with your feeder, again, call CAS at the number on the screen and we'll help walk you through it. It may involve adjusting these, but it's important to have to talk with us before we begin adjusting these, so that you could quickly take the machine out of alignment. To install the envelope feeder on the Versant equipped with the oversized high capacity feeder, open the side guides of the MSI tray in the high capacity feeder. Open the cover of the MSI tray. Then with the feeder positioned roughly centered on the high capacity feeder, lift the top of the discharge, then lift the bottom and gently bring the feeder in to the high capacity feeder until it starts to slide down. You'll see these registration blocks fall right into the well. You may have to lift this cover as you're sliding the feeder forward. And once it goes all the way in, close the cover, let down the top of the discharge, and close the side guides. The back of the feeder should be right up against the high capacity. These arms should be registered against the high capacity feeder if the feeder is properly installed. Now you're ready to feed. Before you begin running the envelope feeder, it's important to check and confirm that the feeder is level. You do this by looking at the level here on the stand and just confirming that the bubble is inside the black circle on the level. If it's not, call CAS at the number on the screen. It will help walk you through leveling out the device. Another part of the feeder to check before you begin running is to ensure that the interlock, that's these two pieces, are resting on top of each other. In this case, it's installed properly. However, if one happens to be slid in the wrong direction, you can readjust these and have them rest on top of each other by loosening these screws and sliding along the slot. Another reminder is that these two knobs, you shouldn't be adjusting those. The feeder should work properly after you've confirmed that this interlock is correct. If you believe you need to adjust these, call CAS at the number on the screen and we can help walk you through that.